If you're taking the January LSAT, listen up because you're on the clock. With just 2 weeks left, there's a $200,000 mistake I'm seeing almost every single student make. And what's wild? The students making this mistake are often the ones working the hardest, 6, 8, even 10 hours a day. But that effort is being wasted on the wrong strategies. But if you can fix this in the next 2 weeks, you could completely change your score trajectory and open the door to scholarship offers you didn't think were possible. First, for those who don't know me, my name is Steve Schwartz. I've been teaching the LSAT since 2005, and I personally increased my own LSAT score from a 152 to a 175. Now, here's the problem. January test takers are in panic mode. They're trying to cram in as much as possible, taking practice test after practice test, grinding through review, and it feels productive. But here's the reality. What most students are doing right now will either burn them out, plateau their scores, or worst of all, cause them to leave easy points on the table. The January LSAT is different. With only 2 weeks to go, you need a sharp, focused plan that prioritizes the highest impact areas of the test. And if you don't make that shift, you're not just risking a lower score, you're risking tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars in scholarship money. Now, let me share a story about a student I worked with last year. Let's call her Sarah. 2 weeks before her January LSAT, she was stuck at 162 and felt completely overwhelmed. She was burning the midnight oil, trying to do it all, focusing equally on every question type, and cycling through full-length tests every single day. Sarah thought she had to push harder and just hope for the best. But here's the truth. At this stage, more grinding isn't the answer. It's about cutting through the noise and zeroing in on the specific skills and question types that deliver the fastest returns. For Sarah, that meant rethinking her entire approach. Instead of cramming, we laser focused on 2 areas that were dragging her score down, and in just 10 days, she jumped up to a 170. That 8-point jump wasn't just life-changing for her confidence, it opened the door to an $82,000 scholarship. Now, here's the thing about the January LSAT. It's one of the last LSAT test dates where you can get your score in time to impact scholarships and admissions decisions for this cycle. Schools are already forming their incoming class, but many do still have scholarship money available, especially for applicants who show up late in the cycle with great scores. But if the January LSAT doesn't work out the way you're hoping, it's not your only shot. You've still got the February and April LSATs coming up, and depending on where you're applying to law school and their timelines, that can still play a major role in boosting your options. But if you are aiming for January, the time to act is now. You don't have time to waste on low-yield strategies. So with just 2 weeks left, here's what you've got to do now. First, prioritize the highest yield areas because not all questions are created equal and some are more common than others. Focus your time on the sections and question types that give you the biggest opportunity for improvement. Secondly, cut through the noise. Stop trying to do everything. If you've already identified patterns in your practice tests, like recurring weaknesses, double down on fixing those instead of spreading your effort too thin. Third, take some mini drills, not just full-length practice tests. Taking full exams every day is not the answer. It's a recipe for burnout. So instead, focus on shorter timed drills that will allow you to hone specific skills and immediately review. And which brings me to the final point, targeted review. Go deeper on understanding why you missed questions and what traps you fell into, instead of just reviewing answers passively. This approach works because it simplifies what feels overwhelming, and that's exactly what you need when the clock is ticking. Now, for those of you taking the LSAT in February or April in addition to January or perhaps instead, this is your chance to plan smarter. You don't have to wait until the last 2 weeks to see a breakthrough. Now, at LSAT Unplugged, we work with students who want a personalized day-by-day roadmap to get the best possible results for the LSAT whenever they're taking it, whether it's in February, April, or beyond. And so, if you're looking to avoid the mistakes most test takers make and you want expert guidance on how to prioritize your time and efforts, we can help you map out a strategy tailored to your timeline and goals. If you're interested, you could check out the links below to find out more and to book a call with me and my team. We'd be glad to help you out. Because the thing is, the earlier you start, the more opportunities you have to maximize your score. Now, before we wrap up, let's go over a couple of mistakes I see students typically make in the final weeks. The first and the biggest one is burnout from over-testing. Taking full exams every single day is a fast track to mental exhaustion. Instead, use your energy wisely by focusing on targeted sections, specific areas. Secondly, students often overlook their strengths. They assume they should only focus on their weak areas, but strengthening what you're already good at can also help you lock in easy points. The third big mistake is guessing without a strategy. If you're short on time in a particular section, don't just randomly guess. Instead, learn how to strategically eliminate wrong answers even under pressure. The fourth big mistake is giving up too soon. 2 weeks is more than enough time to make meaningful improvements. Don't underestimate what small, focused adjustments can do for your score. Now, with the January LSAT just 2 weeks away, now is the time to act. Don't waste energy panicking or trying to do everything. Instead, focus on what works, double down on strategies that yield results, and trust the process. And if you're taking the February or April LSATs, this is your opportunity to stay strong and stay ahead of the curve. Whether it's January, February, April, or beyond, the goal is always going to be the same. Maximize your score, open the door to your dream law schools, and unlock those scholarships. And if you'd like my help, you could check out the links below to book a call with me and my team. We'd be glad to help you out on your journey to scoring a 170 plus whenever you're taking the LSAT. And in the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.